What's up, folks? Kingdom Revival Podcast here, just letting you know that we're alive and well. Everything is on track. As you guys have probably experienced some sort of dissonance in the atmosphere, I too have. There's been a lot of things that are changing in my life, but they're changing for the better. And, I'm continuing on this road of sharing what I feel the Lord has given me, the Creator. And hopefully this is encouraging and a blessing to you, and you can take from it what you will and use it to your greatest advantage. It's been a while since I've actually had a chance to do any podcasting. A lot has been going on. This right here is more of an update, but also sort of a call for people to be watching the weather. Right now, a lot of people are experiencing calamity across the country. It's not just Hurricane Helene. It's not just the Milton, which is going to be a Category 5. There are fires and tornadoes that have been sweeping across the country. And I don't think it's on accident. Many people are tuning in on TikTok, YouTube, whatever it might be. And you're noticing a trend. And if you go back to 2011, there's scientists who understand that we've had high energy directed weapons that have been able to be employed for years.
Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War to wash out the Viet Cong. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now. And in the laboratory, sure enough, they precipitate rain out of water vapor. Sure enough, you can actually bring down electricity down the beam. You name it, outdoor events and agriculture and flooding and even hurricanes, all of them could be subject to weather modification.
And I don't think it's an accident, akin to the Maui wildfires and akin to other disasters that have happened to people and at opportune times in places that are in heavy demand for resource, whether it's land or like the Tennessee and people that live in North Carolina, there are heavy lithium deposits there. At least 12 million shares of black rock is devoted to the lithium. And if you understand how lithium works and its importance with electricity and other things as a resource, you understand that people might have foresight. Now, that's just one company I mentioned, but if you follow the money and you understand who's buying what land and why, you start to understand there's a correlation. Not just that there are disasters sweeping the country, it's more along the lines of what happens after the disaster. If you look at just North Carolina alone, they've changed the laws on how people can vote. Some people are fighting back against the changes. And in North Carolina, there are about 16 electoral votes. If you look at Georgia, it's the same thing. These are heavy swing states. Whether you're red or blue, Democrat or Republican, you have to understand that these things are very important to the way in which we're being polarized and disunified as humanity, as a people. I believe that it is important to vote. I do believe that it's important for people to understand their rights as politics go. But I think the picture is a little bit bigger than that. I think at the end of the day, what you might have are two large conglomerates coming from families that own a lot of our land, a lot of our resource. You guys have watched some of my videos. I've talked about the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, and the Rothschilds, and there's a lot out there that we don't know about. There are a lot of people out there we don't know about that are controlling our assets. Our country is in debt to these other entities. And we're not just talking about other countries. We're talking about wealth that goes back centuries. And if you start to follow the money, you start to understand what's been happening, we have the Hegelian dialectic in full order. You have two options with one better option as a solution. So right now we're having an election that's coming up, and you'll have two options. And even after the winning party takes hold of what it is they think is control of the political landscape, there's going to be a lot of indifference, and then there's also going to be a lot of dissonance. And some people will take up arms, whether it's politically or in the physical manner, and there might be some sort of battleground that we'll see playing out on TV, playing out in major cities, in major areas where people's rights are being taken away from them. You have entities like Northrop Grumman, war machines that get paid by our governments. They have the ability to change the weather. They have the ability to create hurricanes, flooding, tornadoes, HAARP or HARP, which is a weapon, a derivative of the DARPA project. And you have to understand that there's a reason behind that. I believe if you can disenfranchise people and take them away from the resource, then you can create a situation where they're beholden to a larger entity. Now, the other option is to just think that they're taking land and resource, and they're going to be able to use that for their own means. Some people might feel as if this is a stretch, but if you look at the people that are on the ground, their homes are swept away in these floods, and with it, their opportunity to do anything with the land, to have any livelihood. At this point, they're going to be dependent on FEMA for what I think has been, at the bottom ceiling, $750 per family, per person. The state officials, local governments are overrun. The infrastructures are difficult to maneuver. And people are calling for their state governments, their local senators, and their officials to help, but they have no money or means to actually do much. So there have been private entities out there helping, people with helicopters, people with actual experience with disasters, but it's not enough. It won't be enough. And in fact, we have not seen probably the most of what will happen. Many experienced a Category 4. And where I'm at, there was heavy flooding, and a lot of damage was done, but it wasn't as bad as you say North Carolina or Tennessee or Georgia or even Florida, where people's whole livelihoods have been swept away. And what that means is you have a dependency on the government. The other problem is that people are less likely to turn out for voting in some of these states, predominantly red states. I don't lean heavily on any political party because I feel like the political parties are both controlled by large conglomerates. But what I will say is there is a divested effort to create a situation for people to have to be beholden to the government. So part of what I believe is happening is, alongside with the disasters and alongside the things that are happening that we can't see, I believe that there's a lot of things happening beyond our control, beyond what our eyes can see and feel. We understand that there are things that are put in the air, there are frequencies that are being put out by way of the 5G towers. What's been happening has been an effort that goes back 20, 30 years, where you can start to see the increase in technology, the increase in need for technology. But then also you have scenarios like people having to get a medicinal help from Johnson & Johnson or Moderna or whatever it is. And we understand that there's a capability to create frequencies that cause fear, that cause the feeling of scarcity. And there's a dissonance within the body. Our DNAs and our bodies are actually being changed by these things, slowly and surely. So some people have been affected more than others. But what I will say is a lot of the things that happened within the last 4 years are not accidental. And so when you have population control and you have the ability to put things in the air, the food and the water that cause a dissonance in the body, a misalignment, you have yourself an interesting recipe, an ability to actually stem what they might call as a population problem. Now, which populations are being targeted, we don't know. But if you look at the numbers, you look at what's happened so far, you get the understanding that there are things that are in motion that are not for your good or my good. We have to be prepared. I think we have to be prepared spiritually, mentally, and physically. I think that the first thing that we do is, we understand who we are and what we're here for. Some of us are healers, which means that you got to get yourself right, energetically speaking. If you're in relationships that are not for you, you might have to get out of them. It might be tough. Some of you guys are understanding that your relationships on the highest level have brought you the most pain. Some of you guys are married. Some of you guys are with long time boyfriends, girlfriends, and you understand that the relationship wasn't for you. Some of us own land. Some of us are going to be buying stocks. We reap what we sow. We reap the rewards of what the Creator's showing us. So I believe that some of us are going to be put in places to just help others. Humanity is going to be having an uprising. Our frequencies are rising. Our awareness is rising. And what we're understanding is that it's a lot bigger than what we thought it was. It's a lot bigger than the political parties. It's a lot bigger than affiliations with churches and religious structures. And it's a lot bigger than ourselves. Humanity is understanding that we're very connected, highly connected, and that the problem is that we've been disunified and disconnected. Feeling like people, podcasts, and people that are interested in this stuff are sounding the alarm, because I believe now is the time for us to be aware. So until next time, like, subscribe, and share this, please. It really helps the algorithm. And I'm locked and loaded for another series of great podcasts and updates. And we're going to be doing a lot of prayer in this season. So just stay tuned.